So the business is Get You Some Free LLC. She's a personal coach. And her profile says illuminating your sensual authenticity by unleashing orgasm and exaltation through self love. Okay. And so I met this woman through this Facebook group that somebody put me in. This woman, I've been working very closely with her. She's been helping me with building my brand, building my business since last year. Um, and she's been phenomenal in the help she's given me, um, help me see things from a different perspective. So basically, this group, this not the woman that gave me the reading, but the other woman, the group is called Mystik CEO. And basically, it's for I guess she's a healer for spiritual healers. She helps healers get their businesses up, run their business, things of that nature. So there was a call today. They have a call every Friday. Um, there was a call today, and um, I'm listening, you know, taking it all in. I really don't like coming off, asking questions right off the bat. I kind of like to soak in the energy and fill everybody out. And I was pretty much getting good information from the questions that other people were asking. And it came up to my turn to, ask a question. And at first, I really didn't have a question, but I'm not gonna lie. For some reason, and this is just me, um, I feel like sometimes I have a hard time connecting um, through social media. Um, Anybody that's followed my page or followed my Instagram knows that I'm kind of a reclusive person, not really open to the public. Definitely working on that. Um, and so I had some questions as to how to make myself, I guess, more personable, more media friendly. I don't fucking know, something to learn how to connect a little bit more. And the advice that I was given, it was okay. It was, I'm not going to say it was mediocre. Some things that I was given um, was like a confirmation of things that I need to do. Like I used to have a blog talk radio, like a radio podcast type thing. What was brought up was for me to. She said I had a my voice. I guess like there's power behind my speech or what have you. And I've heard that before. I actually was in a police academy. Um, I was an officer for a year, but during my training, that's all I heard was "Yeah, I'm short. I'm 5'3", but they said that my voice it held power. It was commanding. So I've actually heard that before. So that was just a confirmation. She told me that I need to blog or do something. I don't like to write. I write in school. I'm in grad school. I do spells and stuff like that. So I'm not really big on writing. I am big on talking though. Um, and so she gave me the advice to write, which I'm not gonna put it off because I have started an autobiography. Just started it, not getting into anything deep, but I have started it because I know that's something that I need to do for self healing. Um, Hachi, you're the only one listening right now, so I'm kind of going to shout you out a little bit. And anybody else that listens to this after the fact, if you guys are looking for deep self healing, I recommend 100% starting an autobiography. 100% start an autobiography. If you're really looking to heal, 100% like deep healing, not just surface level things. I feel like sometimes on social media, all the spiritual practitioners, even myself, I've limited myself and I'm stopping that today. This was like a confirmation, but I'll get into that. Everything is a little bit watered down. You know what I mean? I even had to water my own stuff down. People that followed me, you can see that my content has changed a little bit from when I first really started putting my business out there. Um, Number one, for fear of not attracting people, attracting clients and customers. That's the biggest, especially for me. And that people might lose connection or they might lose what I'm trying to say, which happens at times. Um, But, I don't know if there's any healers out there telling people to write a book. Even if you never put it out, it's something, it don't even have to be published. Just start writing and watch where it takes you. If you don't like to write, record it. Audio record your story. You know what I mean? Um, and when you're done, if you want to, give it to somebody to read. I'm thinking about when I'm done with this to give it to somebody. Or you never know what place and space I'm in to publish it. Who knows? But I definitely feel like, you know, people should write a book. People should write their autobiography. Don't leave nothing out. That's the part of the healing. Um, so she brought up the fact about writing, blogging, my voice holds weight, start doing more podcasts with people, networking. I've done podcasts before. I've done two, nothing major, but I definitely agree with that. And 100% feel like that's what I need to do. But anyway, I feel like I'm like going off on a tangent a little bit. Um, So I asked my question, how do I connect? I've had this business. I didn't even expect for it to pop off the way it did. It kind of caught me off guard. But I want to connect better. What can I do to connect? As far as social media is concerned, and that's what came up. So she told me that, and then I'm listening to other people, and then as I'm on the call, I get this message request. So I look at the message request and it's from a woman. And she tells me, like, hey, I heard what you were saying on the call. And let me actually pull up what she said because I don't want to make it up. I want to. Hello, I heard your question on the Q&A call. May I offer a brief natal reading to dig into your gift of esoteric communication? I've had the same issues and I'd like to offer some insight. So immediately, when somebody offers me something like this, something for free, um, at this point where I'm at in my business, I'm kind of leery because, when I first started out, everything was cool. I've known a little bit more people in the social media community as far as spiritual healers, but I have people that try to offer me things just so that they can get a promotion or, there's an ulterior motive behind it. So I'm really not big on the accepting free things from people, but something in the back of my mind just said do it. Just said go ahead. So I said okay. Um, Set it up, scheduled it, video chat, and Shekinah is her name. Like I said, get you some free LLC. Self love. And so she and let me let you know, I have some knowledge of my chart. I've pulled my chart. I know what's in it, but I don't really understand it. I'm a tarot reader. I dabble into numerology. I dabble into astrology, the sun signs, the moon signs, a little bit of the ascending. I don't really go into like the nodes, the midheaven. I'm not really deep into that. I would love to get into it. And the fact that I have my chart actually read to me like a story, it was just beautiful. So I definitely that has piqued my interest to say the least. So now that when I look at my chart, I have a better understanding of what I'm looking at, and I know what it is I need to do. Um, Mind you, we're gonna stop right here, and I'm gonna go back. I put on Instagram that I had a dream. I had a crazy ass dream that somebody slit my throat, and I didn't bleed and I didn't lose my head, but I cupped my hand to my throat and I held it, and there was a gaping wound, but nothing was coming out of it. So, um, I had mentioned that on the call as well, as far as the dream, and so that's going to tie into the story. But so we get into it. She automatically goes in. 12/26/1982 is my birth date. She goes in the 12, 1 and 2, 3. Bam. She says already 3. That's Mercury. Communication is very strong for me. 26, 8. She said that's the number of strength. She just basically validated my path. I mean, all she knew was that I was a tarot reader and what I mentioned on the call, but the level of information that I got from her was ridiculous about me. I've never had anybody completely understand me at all or get me. I've always been 100% outcast, but for the first time, I actually spoke to somebody that got me, um, who understand. And I guess, looking at my chart, she was able to see these things. Um, what do I want to get in here? So I've been also doing shadow work. If you're paying attention to my Instagram, I've got the 21 day tarot challenge going on, release the shadow. And it's just funny how this situation came about as I'm doing shadow healing. Um, I've got notes here. I felt like I was in my client's shoes because I'm the one always giving direction and people are taking notes. But I took a lot of notes. Um, cancer. Cancer is a big part of my chart. Cancer is my ascending. She said it's also my north node. And with cancer comes the nurturing. It comes the nurturing, wanting to nurture people and help heal people, which is what I'm doing in my business, trying to heal people. Um, she said in my former life, because I've got a lot of Capricorn on my chart still. In my former life, she said that I was a workaholic, and it's carrying into this life. And I've got a lot of earth and water on my chart, and she said most likely because of my last life, I had a lot of air and fire, right? So um, she said this time around, I have to learn how to relax, not work so hard, and I have to pay attention to self love. Definitely self love, and it's crazy because that's something that I tapped into as I was pulling these cards. Now, I need for everybody to understand: just because you're a healer doesn't mean that you're whole, right? She used the term wounded healer, and I've had some of my clients use that term for me as well, which I think is an interesting term. And I've been telling people, especially because I've been going live, um, doing the tarot readings, that that's therapy for me as well. It's healing for me. And sometimes when I pull those cards, they're messages for me as well. So the wounded healer is really deep for me. I look on Instagram and, sometimes I see a lot of people, they think that they say that they've got all the answers, and I don't know, they might. I don't fucking know, but they just seem so well put together, and I'm like, I'm over here a fucking mess. I'm not gonna say like a complete mess, but you know, battling everyday things. I battle depression, and not for everyday reasons that people would think. I battle depression for the world. Sometimes when I think about, as far as being a person of color in this country, the obstacles that brown skinned people have to go through in their own land. That's a whole nother video. I'll get into that. But just like Martin Luther King said, exiled in our own land. Think about the hoops that we have to maneuver through on a societal aspect, not even just personal individually, but you've got to combat what society has put on us as brown skinned people. And the shit gets depressing. It gets extremely depressing. And sometimes I just feel like it's too much, and I get depressed. I think that's the empath aspect. I'm definitely learning how to cut that off. Uh, Before, I used to think that being an empath was like, oh, great, it's such a gift, and I don't know. Been watching some videos. I'm gonna do a little bit more studying on it, but I don't. I honestly feel like being an empath is not. If you want to be successful and you want to achieve, that empath ability is definitely a crutch, and it will hinder you. It will hinder you if you cannot turn off feeling things for other people, taking on other people's miseries. It's gonna do nothing but fuck you up in the long run. But we'll get into that later. So Um, she talked about self love. She talked about self love a lot. I didn't realize I grew up in a church. My mom stopped letting me go when I was like 15, 16. But a lot of a lot of things that I guess I have fear with, it comes from self judgment. And she said the self judgment aspect, um, right, exactly, Hachi. It has to be turned off. But the self judgment aspect could be from being in the church. Even though I don't think about it, my mom let me leave the church. That was fine. Um, but that indoctrination is still subconsciously in my mind, and it didn't even dawn on me until she made me re go to that place. I didn't think anything of it. The church is so critical. It's so judgmental. Um, we talked about things like questions like, what will they say about me? The more I talk about it, the more I will heal. Um, Self judgment. Um, so it comes. I think it makes sense. It makes perfect logical sense. Been indoctrinated with Christian ideology from birth all the way to 15, 16 years old. And really, still, I didn't get into esoteric information until my late 20s. So still kind of battling, not really living the church life, but still those ideologies are instilled in me. Um, and even to this day, even now. So that was really deep, um, that she pointed that out. Um, she said I had Jupiter in 0 degrees, which is like extreme expansive power and growth. Um, Venus is in Taurus. She said again, Taurus is a natural feeler. Um, Let me see what else in my notes that I can really talk about. A lot of notes on here. Like I said, North Node in Cancer. Cancer is Capricorn's exact opposite. So um, I actually I like Cancer attributes. I like Cancer zodiac sign, and men and women. I might not agree with how they express themselves sometimes because they are water, but ultimately I feel like Cancer and Capricorn have the same ideology. Um, so that sign is not difficult or hard to, pull from, but she definitely told me to continue to pull and to just, study Cancer, those aspects and those qualities, which I'm going to do. And it's funny because my husband is always telling me that you have to pull. Yeah, I'm a Cancer rising. So my husband tells me that you have to pull from the other signs that you don't have. When you're lacking something, you pull from the other signs. So that was just a confirmation. My hubby be hitting me with some knowledge, and sometimes I listen and sometimes I don't. She also brought up the fact that self judgment is the victim card. And I was like, whoa, that's deep. I just put out a video before this about hexes and curses and the fact that when you continue to say, "Oh, I'm hexed. Somebody hexed me." Reclaim your power. Stop saying that you've been hexed. Especially if you don't have any, like you just can't be saying that. You open yourself up. So the fact that I had spoke about the victim card, and claiming your power, and she brought that up to me about self judging is disempowering. Um, I thought that was deep, and I didn't equate self judgment with the ego, but it makes sense. Self judge, it keeps you contained somewhere, and it keeps you. Like I said, oh, I feel monotone. Nobody's gonna listen to me. Nobody's gonna want to hear me. I'm not upbeat. I'm not all perky. I'm not out there with a fucking ton of makeup on and all the new fucking latest clothes and shit like that. And it's your ego. It's just your ego. And I really see that. That really helped me to see that. And I see where I was playing a victim card. you know, definitely playing the victim card, and I think that I'm my biggest critic. Of course, there are gonna be people that don't, really agree or want to listen to me or vibe with what I'm saying, but ultimately, you know, anytime that I'm live or anytime that I do anything dealing with the public, I'm received well. So this facade or this illusion, that I have of like, I don't know, complete scrutiny, I really feel like it's tied to the church and it's tied to my ego. Death to the ego, and I feel like identifying it is helping minimize that ego. Um, that ego is crazy. Your ego, it fucking comes, it comes in any form, to keep you down. So now I'm realizing that any form of negativity, even I'm thinking, self judging is helping me, and it's like, no, it's not. It's holding you back. She also spoke about being a powerful healer, having a message to talk about things that are like really deep that generally a lot of people are not going to want to talk about, and it might cause some friction, which I kind of saw already, and I didn't even speak on anything. I posted a picture about a white rich lady. I'm assuming she had money that disrespected a Nepalese woman, um, and people took it the wrong way. Um, I even lost a follower in my coven, which is fine. I mean, I can't bite my tongue anymore. I sit back. I don't really say too much because I feel like, I did feel like, being a spiritual healer, you got to be neutral and nah, like you need to talk about these things no matter what they are. Racism, um, how people are acting in the spiritual community. These things have to be talked about. So definitely going to be opening up about some things, even some things that's happened to me in my past and my journey. I feel like if I don't speak about it, I'm going to be doing a disservice to people. There's no way I can be a healer and not share um, what I've been through. And as I continue to say, doing this is definitely going to be self healing. Um, she spoke about me being very complex, and I told her a lot of times I feel contradictive in my actions and my behavior because of my chart and how it's set up. Cancer and Capricorn is complete opposite, right? And I've got a lot of Capricorn on my chart. I've got some Cancer on my chart, but it just feels like I conflict from within. I don't know if anybody else has these feelings, but I definitely feel like that at times, and it was relieving for somebody to see that and to call that out in my chart. Um, but she just said that I got to be much softer on myself. Um, the less I judge, the more I can walk in authenticity. Um, Definitely work on my throat chakra. And it's just weird how I had that dream about my throat being held. I felt like that is also a message for me, like, hey, it's time. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to start speaking up. It's time to start being consistent and commit to, you know, talking and stop worrying about judgment. Um, what else? Also, the word challenge. She brought it to my attention that kind of changed that word up. And I know I put in like 21-day tarot challenge, but she said kind of use commitment instead of challenge. Like I've committed to when we think of challenge, and I'm all for subconscious programming, so that's why this is great. Like even when you say the word challenge, what do you think of? You know what I mean? Like automatically you're like, oh shit, it's hard. It's a challenge. I think of when I see the word challenge, I see a mountain or a hill that you have to climb. You know what I mean? So and then when you say the word commitment, like what do you see behind that? When you say commitment, you know what I mean? When I look at commitment, I think of dedication. There's so many things that pop into my mind when I think of the word commitment, dedication, partnership, um, recep- recep- reciprocity. Did I say that word right? Um, these are the words that I think of when I think of commitment. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So I had to share that experience. She said that my chart was off the chart. Very unique person indeed. She said that I was here to relay a message, and I have to share it. I definitely have to share it. But in order to continue, I have to make sure I take care of myself. I can't take care of anybody else if I don't take care of myself first. So self love is key for me. She said because Taurus is my moon, of course Capricorn will work ourselves to death. Um, but I definitely feel like I'm trying to. I definitely have felt like for a long time that I've been carrying a lot of things from my past life, and all of us we do this. We carry things from our past life that we need to either sever it, close it out, or figure out what we need to do to change up things. So I've just got to live a little more. Easier said than done. I can be uptight, rigid. Um, I have a sense of humor. Like to have fun, but it has to be pulled out of me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but this this was deep. Hour and a half. I recorded it. Definitely gonna listen and reflect back. But like I said, I really don't. I do promos and stuff, but definitely I recommend her to anybody who wants a natal chart, like a reading done. She also told me my story, like the Fool's Journey. If anybody's familiar with tarot, um, it's a story. The major arcana cards. There's a story behind each card. All the cards from the Fool all the way to the Universe, and the way how she reads your chart. Once she breaks it down, she puts it in a story theme, and it was just beautiful. Um, I don't know how other people do their charts. Like I said, I'm not one to exchange my energy with a lot of people, so I was just like in awe of how she presented my life and my chart to me. It just made it seem like like so magical and beautiful, and I'm like, damn, that's my chart. So get you some free LLC. Shekinah is her name. Um, her she's located out of Decatur, Georgia. And let me see what other information I can give y'all about her. Um, that's her website too. Get you some free life. Get you some free. And I'm gonna go to her w get you. I haven't even had a chance to go to her website yet because I had just got off the video chat with her, and I just was like, yo, I've gotta put this out there to whoever's listening um about the work that she's doing. And so I'm on her website now. Get you some free life. All right. I'm on her website now, and she says it on here. Replace the word challenge with commitment, and watch your entire world change. So automatically, that's what I love. I love reprogramming, reprogramming our subconscious mind. So already, you know, she knows the power of affirmation. She knows the power of words. You guys always hear me say, I create as I speak. That's like my little theme right there. So she's big on self love. Um, her nickname, I guess she goes by Nina on here. Um, and she said I had Pisces and Mars in my eighth house, which is for those that have had readings with me. Um, Not only do I read the picture, the symbols, but I also get into intuitive, which is from it's starting to become a little bit psychic. I've been picking up on a lot of things that people are not expressing to me. I've picked up on people being in domestic violence situations, all types of crazy things. And it's like the more I do it, the more intuitive it becomes. It's deeper than just, okay, oh, this is the full card. This is what this means. It's more of just regurgitating, what the card means. Once it becomes intuitive, it gets a little deeper. I've also expressed to her um, the fact that even with all the manifestations, everything, there's still a doubt or disbelief. And she said that was because in my chart, in my eighth house, I had Aquarius first and then Pisces. And she says that there are like affirmations or I ams. Um, Hold on for a second, y'all. Security apps, unique speaking. Yes. Okay. All right, badges removed. All right, bye. All right, sorry about that. I'm at work. So basically, and I've got to look into this. I didn't want to ask her for the information, um, but I'm gonna look into it. But she said all the zodiac signs have a like some type of I don't know, affirmation or I am type thing. And she said that Taurus is I have, Capricorn is I achieve, and back to my eighth house. She said the Aquarius comes before the Pisces, and Aquarius is I know, and Pisces is I believe. And so that's my reason why that small bit of disbelief is there, even though I'm actually seeing what I'm manifesting. And she said, because the I know is in front of the I believe. You know, because I'm doing it, but ultimately I have to get to that second part, which is the I believe. She said I had a lot of Pisces in certain areas where it shows that spiritual awareness, the psychic ability. I also told her about when I was younger. I used to lucid dream. I still remember places that I would visit in my dreams when I was younger. Um, Also had dreams where I knew I was dreaming. Like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. Okay. Move your hand if you know that, and my hand would move and I would go certain, and I'm fully fucking aware, right? In my dream that I'm dreaming and I'm doing shit and I know I'm aware. I haven't been able to do that, experience that in a long time. And she said it's because of all the worrying and the self judgment. I've got to start letting go and able to get that ability. Now, I think it's starting to come back because I've been working on the shadow work, the release the shadow thing. Um, and I was able to dream that dream about being slit in the throat. So I thought that was extremely interesting. Um, she also said that I was going to speak out against Mars. Mars is like vital energy, sexual energy. Um, I'm a victim of child abuse. Uh, Very touchy subject. Very touchy subject. But I see on her website that she expresses this also. She reveals this information. She says I've been abused, molested, raped, self-abused, homeless, former runaway, homeless with three small children, survived more than one rundown, resourceless domestic violence shelter, institutionalized, admitted to a mental hospital at the ages of 14 and 15, married, divorced. And then she lists everything that she's been: um, preacher's kid, minister of music, choir director, songwriter, voiceover actress, jingle writer, funeral director, police dispatcher, cop, stripper, nanny, court advocate, fatherless, motherless, postpartum. Like, this is what I live for right here. This is what I want to do. That I feel like I didn't have the balls to really do. I commend her. It's not easy, and to see that she's put all this stuff on her website, it takes somebody. It takes a healer. Nobody likes to be judged. Nobody likes to be viewed a certain way. Nobody likes to put their what makes them vulnerable out to the world. And I think that's what I'm struggling with. I'm at the fork in the road, but it's like, um, just like she said, it has to take place. There's so many people out there, um, that have gone through what I go through, and so I always feel like, I'm such a weirdo, I'm a loner, but really I think if I start opening up, I think that I find that I'll have more people to relate to than I think, as far as women. And I also feel like I have to speak up to let other women know that they're not alone. One of my favorite artists is Kid Cudi, right? Um, been following Kid Cudi damn near since his career, and the main point of his music is because he battles with depression, suicidal thoughts, um, being a weirdo, you know, not fitting in. Um, calls himself the man on the moon. Definitely can relate 100% to Kid Cudi, and I just have to think that if he never opened up his vulnerable place and provided that music, you know, where would I be and all the other people that listen to him, to get through what they're going through? I listen to Kid Cudi to get through things. His vibe and his energy alone, I just connect with it. So um, I just thought this was interesting. Um, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Um, Healing is crucial. Healing is the key, for betterment, for success, for achievement. And it's like, why are our charts the way they are? Why are we supposed to do the things we do? Um, I question it. Maybe the more into, in my spiritual journey, hopefully I come across why. Um, you know, everybody wants to say that saying, we were put here. Okay, that's fine. I don't know, but in the grand scheme of things, um, ultimately when it comes down to making decisions and actually living the situation, living it, you're like, what the fuck? Like, why is this my destiny? Um, I don't know what will ever come of these things, if I ever start talking about, or, hopefully somebody hears it, but if not, until then, I guess it'll be healing. I guess it'll definitely be healing. I actually, let me see here. I pulled. So let me read the questions as far as the shadow work thing. So there are four stages of shadow work, and shadow work is comes from Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, however you want to pronounce it. And shadow is anything that we pretty much hide from society, even from ourselves, that we just put away. It could be negative, it can be positive. There can be positive attributes in your shadow. Um, say if you're a leader, you're outspoken, but you grew up in a household where, children are seen and not heard. Maybe your parents didn't want you to have eye contact with them, all types of craziness. But however, these things got pushed into your shadow. So as an adult, you're insecure, you're reclusive, you really don't talk to people, you don't look people in their face, things of that nature. So good qualities get pushed into your shadow. Um, a lot of the times, things that we hate about other people are really things that we hate about ourselves. And we hear that a lot. But that's really deep. I have an issue with Leos. They get on my nerves. I have it. My baby sister's a Leo, and my daughter's a Leo. I have a complete issue with Leos. They're all about themselves, um, and maybe that's what I envy. The fact that they're all about themselves. You know what I mean? They're loud. They're courageous. They're prideful, and I'm not a boisterous type person. Um, so I'm starting to think, maybe I resent Leo because I need some of those qualities, and subconsciously I know, but I'm like, I don't like them. I don't know. I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper here because now I'm realizing things. Um, so definitely what you don't like about somebody else, you need to reevaluate and look at yourself and say, well, why don't I like this? And you might learn more about yourself. Um, I don't like people that are carefree. I also absolutely hate carefree people. And I mean, like, people that just do shit off the whim. I hate that. I hate people that make decisions without kind of thinking them through. Um, my husband, he's a Libra. Air signs. They drive me absolutely crazy, but yet I'm so intrigued with them. It's their level of carefreeness that air. Um, and I definitely think that's air and fire. She's saying that I might have had all of that in my past life, and it was just a little bit too much, and the universe said, you know what, you need to slow down. So, you know, but there's 4 stages of shadow work, and the first stage is denial. Those aspects that we deny, disown, and reject about ourselves are usually those that we've filed away. And so the 5 questions I have are: who am I? What do I need to stop running away from? What do I hate about myself and why? What is the source of my greatest fear? And what is the greatest lie I keep feeding myself? So if you want to see my answers I've posted so far, I'm a day behind. Don't beat me up, y'all. I'm a day behind on my own challenge, but hey, I'm getting there. So I've answered these questions in cards, and it was very deep. Um, one of the cards that I pulled, it even had me bring up um, talking about things that I don't really like to talk about, as far as my past, being a victim of child abuse, child sex abuse, um, and kind of being picked on. I grew up in Massachusetts, um, predominantly white area, Cape Cod, elementary school. I remember times me being the only black kid in my class, being poked, touched. Your big lips, your big nose. Let me touch your nose. Let me touch your hair. And then being blackballed by the black community in Massachusetts because I didn't have the name brand clothes. I didn't have any friends. My name was unique. Like, kids are so fucking cruel. So I went from there, being poked and prodded on by white people, being shunned by the black people. And then I moved to Philly. And once again, you talk white, you know, I'm not wearing the name brand clothes that everybody's wearing. Once again, blackballed because of who I am. So it's like, um, Tyler the Creator said it in one of his raps. I'm too white for the black kids, too black for the white kids. You know what I mean? Like, there was never a completeness for me. And that came up. That came up pulling the cards, and as an adult, I thought that I kind of left these feelings and situations alone because I feel like as an adult, those things can't hurt me anymore. I'm an adult, I'm not a child anymore. But no, I have to revisit them. I have to revisit these feelings and talk about it, and so that I can let it go. Not just chalk it up like, oh, okay, I'm not a kid anymore. But I'm realizing that my inner child is really hurt. My inner child is hurt, um, and my inner child needs to express itself. So that came up. So that was the first stage, the denial. The second stage is projection. We can identify it by paying attention to our judgment of other people. And the 5 questions for this section is: what do I hate about others? In what ways do you project your feelings onto others? Why don't you express how you truly feel? How can we rebuild our self-esteem so that we are not projecting on others? And how can I learn to communicate my feelings so that I won't project? So this is deep. Um, as humans with egos that we don't really tame, on if you're not like spiritually aware, we're constantly projecting, we're constantly blaming, projecting, blaming, projecting, blaming. I've done it myself. I do it, occasionally now. I'm aware of it, so I try not to, but definitely something to work on. Projection is kind of playing a victim role too. Um, and blaming somebody else for it instead of taking accountability. It's kind of cowardice, um, and definitely lacking morals, right? Not being accountable for what it is that you're doing, and constantly projecting, you know, what you hate about yourself onto other people. It's so easy to judge somebody else. It's very hard to look at yourself in the mirror and say, "This is what I do. This is what I am." I implore anybody. It's a good exercise. I do it sometimes. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I say all the negative shit about me that I've heard people say or that I know. And I'll just look in my mirror and say, "This is you. You can't fight it. The good things and the bad things." Just look yourself in the mirror and just say it, and still look yourself in the face while you're saying these things and see how you feel. Write them down. Write them down so you can see. That helps. That helps, and it'll help you be able to change these things. The third part of shadow work, integration. We want to find those hidden aspects, bring them into the light of consciousness, dust them off, and see if we can use them to make ourselves whole again. And so the question here is, what is my inner truth? What will help us move towards self acceptance? What advice does my inner child have for me? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to forgive myself for? And I haven't gotten to this part yet, but this part right here is deep because just a week or two ago, I had to sit down with myself and I had to tell myself that I forgave myself. I'm not perfect. I've done things to wrong people. I had a best friend for over 10 years, and we fell out about something, and it was my fault. And we've made up. I've apologized time and time over, and we've made up. And I still hold myself accountable, even though this person has forgiven me. She's gotten tarot readings from me. I help her with her healing now too. And it's like, for some reason, I just don't want to forgive myself for things. And it's like, why? Why don't you want to forgive yourself? If everybody else has forgiven you, why are you still torturing yourself? It's like some weird kind of fetish torture, and I think we all do it to a certain degree. Let it go, especially if the person has forgiven you. Now, if you've got no forgiveness and it's eating you up, write a letter, send it to the person. If you'll never see the person again, if they're dead, write them a letter, talk to them in spirit, but you have to let it go. You can't keep holding something on, especially if the person has forgiven you. And I noticed that I do that. It's like I feel like at times like I don't want to be happy, and it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, what's stopping you from being eternally, like, internally happy? You know. Um, the last part of the shadow work is transmutation. Transmutation is the process of taking something and turning it into something else. How can I balance my feminine side? How can I balance my masculine side? How can I strengthen my bond with loved ones? How do I transmutate my anger? How do I transmutate my fear? Um, these are really important questions. We have to take that energy of healing, the shame, the guilt, whatever's coming up during this phase in the shadow work, and we have to put that energy into something else. We have to transmutate. So, meaning all the negative traits, jealousy, envy, guilt, shame, turn it into positive energy and use it to fuel your motivation, your drive, your magic, your candle magic. Um, put it into something. It has to go somewhere. Okay, I've got the Bible is made by the government to keep us boxed into a reality with limits and stop us. Okay. Yes, it really is. And it does a number. And what was the term that was brought up? Inner conditioning, right? So it's conditioning. And like I said, that's affecting me right now. But the last question that I put to this, and it doesn't have to do with any of the stages, but it was a healing question, and it was just who have I become? 21 days. If you're not into therapy, if you haven't done any type of form of therapy, but asking these questions, whether you put them on social media or not, um, asking these questions are going to open up wounds. They're going to open up wounds, and you're going to be sensitive. If you do this, you're definitely going to be sensitive. You might be a little bit more sensitive to certain things. So be wary of that when you're doing this. You don't want to take anything out on anybody. So just be mindful that it's going to open up, and that energy is going to have to be transmutated, like the questions were saying, like the stages were saying. Um, but you're going to have to ask yourself, you know, what was that question? Who have I become? Right? Because you're not going to be the same person that started this challenge 21 days. I'm 7 days in, and I'm already seeing significant changes and self analysis and self development, um, with how far I've gotten. Um, so definitely check it out. Like I said, if you're not going to do the challenge on social media, do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. I'm a dark healer. I work in the dark. You got to go through the dark to get through the light. We've got to get rid of this shit in our shadow in order to be the person that we were supposed to be in our charts. Um, I realized that, but getting that natal chart just helped me help realize what it is that I'm really supposed to do. It helped confirm a lot, and it let me know that I've got work to do, um, for myself, but I can document my work and share it with you all. You know what I mean? And hopefully somebody can relate. Um, I'm all about making money. Yes, I run a business, I do spells, but ultimately, um, I love to empower people. I love to empower people, and so they can realize that they can do the same thing that I can do. I'm not doing anything that somebody else can't do if they really, put their minds to it and study. But I don't know that. I mean, I've never, that experience was just so deep. I had to do a video about it. Like, um, Nina, she was very caring. She was very personable. She was very warm and welcome, and it was a breath of fresh air, to be able to relate to somebody, especially with my quirkiness and things of that nature. But I definitely recommend her. Please check her out. I'm gonna post something on my page and tag her so people can go to her page that way too. But and I'm gonna tell y'all now, to top it all off, I didn't even say it because I didn't know if I wanted to. This was a free service. Something blessed her in her heart to do this for me for free. And, that's how I know that my spirit guides are working through people. Because I have people with very high energy levels that's like on a business tip taking me under their wing. And when I'm telling y'all, I'm not kicking out money for information that I'm giving that's valued at thousands of dollars. Why me? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? But I'm not gonna be asking anymore. Um, I'm just gonna continue to be open and to receive. Um, the people that I'm coming in contact with are definitely I'm in contact with them for a reason. Um, from the beginning of my spiritual journey, I mean, the person who helped me start my business, even though me and this person don't speak, I still think highly of what she does on her behalf. She's still a hardworking black woman. Um, but I've just had people guiding me along the way. And I know that my spirit guides and my ancestors are utilizing people to show me. I've been asking for a message for something, from my spirit guides to just let me know what I'm doing. I'm on the right path. Um, this was a hell of a confirmation, man. This was a hell of a confirmation. I just can't get over the amount of information, and she could have continued on. She could have continued on. She cut it short because I'm at work. And like I said, we were on the phone for like an hour and a half. So let me see here. On another note, on another note, well, before I do this, now don't y'all go telling everybody that she done did it for free. I'm saying that on the podcast, right? Um, but her natal chart readings are $50 for an hour. And I'm telling y'all, it would be the best $50 that you spend your money on. Like I said, you guys know me, you know my work is authentic. I only, vouch for authentic people. Um, it's really a good investment if you feel like you're stuck. Um, you don't know where to go. You don't know why you operate the way you do. You have an idea, even if you've got a natal chart done before. Like I said, I don't know how other people do their charts, but she's good, man. She's good. She's really good. So her natal chart readings are $50. She does other things. She does tarot. Um, but because I've experienced that chart, that's what I'm really focused on. Her website is very well put together, um, very detailed. This is dope. Her website is awesome. Very detailed. This is great. This is great. Um, check it out. What is this? Okay. She's got some reviews on here, so that's good. Definitely good. I think I'm all out of talking. I really don't have too much else to say. Um, thanks for all that tuned in, and thanks for all that go back to listen to it. Um, leave your thoughts. Thanks for the comments. Um, but I'm out. All right. I'll definitely be live some more. This was really great. Um, just give me some feedback. All right. Okay. I will definitely talk to y'all later. Over and out.